Podcast. I'm your host, DeShawn Miller. You're about to dive into another enthralling and, may I say, fascinating conversation about the world, current, past, present, future, issues concerning us, me and you. But seen through an Afrocentric lens. Hopefully we don't cut no corners around here. Gonna give it to you straight talk. And this is episode 10, by the way, double digits. But before we get started, I want you to know exactly where you can find us. You can find us anywhere that all great content is given out, absolutely for free. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of those platforms. Just make sure you reach out. But when you do, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. That's how we make sure that we giving out all this goodness to the maximum people that can receive it. Just trying to do a little good in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's been a little while since I reached out with y'all. You know what I mean? It's been a few weeks. Hey, the holidays is here, but not that I'm really partaking in them like per usual. But I have another 9 to 5, I guess we could call it, that kind of requires a lot more attention. So unfortunately, I'm not able to do this sometimes as frequently as I would like. But I'm gonna try to get on schedule. And again, with your support, I'll be able to do that more often. So again, please like, subscribe, and share. Um, but thanks for coming back. Either way, I know you got plenty places to be, so I'm glad you're here with me. Reach out to me by phone if you want to. Please leave a message, especially if you have anything that you want to discuss or need advice on anything. Uncle Sean's advice is legendary. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it to you real. Sometimes I'm gonna give it to you too real, but usually is what you need to hear. You know what I mean? So don't call me if you got to, if you're gonna be in your feelings about the advice that I'm gonna give you. But yeah, you can reach out to me on my phone, and that number is 747-777-3146. Again, that's 747-777-3146. Yeah, but please reach out to me. If you got any type of issues, girl problems, guy problems, I got girls. Well, no longer. I'm a faithful man. But I used to have girls and had to juggle from time to time. You know what I mean? So I've been in quandaries that may require some some assistance. You know what I'm saying? I've been through that path before. And got you know, I'm a guy, so I know how guys think. So again, if you feel like, what I'm saying, something your have your life become unmanageable, do you need help? Please reach out to me. 747-777-3146. All right. So yeah, with all the pleasantries out the way, let's start the show. Now, last podcast, I was talking to y'all about No Shave November, and I was going through the struggle period and trying to grow out my beard a little bit. But look at the facial fur. Look at it. Look at it. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You wish you could have this luxurious mane. You wish you could have this luxurious mane. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Look at this. Look. But it's been a challenge for your boy, man. For some reason, it just don't grow in full and proper. But that's all right. That's okay. You know what I mean? Hey, we can't have it all. You know what I mean? You can have this beautiful face and a full fur. You know what I'm saying? A full mink on your face. You know what I mean? I think it's for people who need to hide something. And P.S. Thanks to all you suck ass, you suck ass niggas that show you a little, you know what I'm saying, send me photos of your little fur. That's fine. It's envy, full envy. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's face envy. I ain't gonna front. But either way, so I actually went and got a cut today. Homeboy, he did it. He did it right. You know what I'm saying? Lined me up, did it right. So, but I just got to give it up. It'll never ever connect. You know what I'm saying? Parts between my cheek, it was like as smooth as a baby's butt. That's never gonna connect. So I just, you know what I'm saying? I just gotta live with it. I gotta live with some of my faults. You know what I mean? I can't. Everything can't be fixed. I can fix it probably, but hey, who's trying to go through that much? You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to put my ass hair on my face like some of these dudes be doing on their on their head and going to Turkey and stuff to get their hairline in place. Thank God at a nice middle-aged man, my hairline is respectfully intact. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look. I see some dudes, you know what I'm saying, that was bald when they was 23. So hey, I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all right. So again, all's well. And again, at least I can get the chin strap going, you know what I'm saying, with decent efficiency. You know what I'm saying? So it worked out. It worked out, you know. So anywho, oh, and so let me backtrack. So it was about like so earlier this week, I was sitting there, I was walking, you know what I mean? I was walking into an elevator, and there was this brother walking into the elevator with me. You know what I'm saying? And I walked in first. He was coming in. I could have like just let it go, but hey, it's my brother. Let me hold the door. And as he come in, I'm like, what up? Nod to him. Stone Grill. Word, nigga. I can't even get the copacetic nod back. You know what I'm saying? I can't even get the copacetic nod back. Like, oh, all right, though. Thanks. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? None of that. And see, and I was like, yo, what the? Yeah, and as a matter of fact, not even did I get the nod. He had the mug on his face. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm your brother. You know what I mean? Why we got to do this? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we need to normalize just the normal hello, especially between men. I don't know if women do this. I don't know if women be saying hello to each other when they be in these tight spaces, or it's just, two black women sitting there. But as brothers, it feel like you're going to admit weakness if you be like, yo, what up? What up, man? You know what I'm saying? "Yeah, cool. I see you. Yo, thank you, partner." You know what I'm saying? To give normal courtesies to brothers, sometimes it feels like, oh, I can't, saying I can't just I can't show any type of vulnerabilities, or else I'll be viewed as a mark. That's the way it be feeling like. And I know I used to be that dude. I used to be that dude, right? Where it's just like, hey, you gotta be like, you're so stone cold. Don't try me, nigga. I ain't the one to be tried. You gotta have that face on sometimes, right? The rest of bitch face, right? It gotta be that way. Cause otherwise, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers gonna try you. Motherfuckers will try you. So that's what I'm saying. So I get it. But at the same time, I feel like now is a time to where we need to be showing solidarity between, as black people, especially out in this space. Cause as ICE begins to ramp up and they done got all the Mexicans they need, it's gonna be our turn. So I need us to be able to be like, cause hey, even the brother that came in there and didn't, give me no what up, you know what I'm saying? No, no acknowledgement. You know what I mean? Hey, if he went out and then stumbled onto some white power bullshit, I'm gonna be right there with my video cameras trying to stop, just doing whatever I can to disrupt they bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be right there on his side trying to get it done. So, I don't know. I just feel like we need to have a little kind of solidarity. It ain't always gotta be on angry mode, man, especially when it's just us, right? Especially when it's just us. Just give it a acknowledgement. What up? We gotta show love to each other here and there. That's all. My public service announcement. Please, man. Hey, what up, dog? That's it. Don't take much. So much, but you know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta kumbaya, do you know what I'm saying? Dosey do in the fucking elevator. We ain't gotta do none of that. But what up? I see you. I acknowledge your presence, brother. You know what I mean? Hey. And again, that's it. But sometimes I just feel like people would just be on hard mode just all the time. I get it. This world is stressful. I understand. You got to play that part. But I do think we need to start breaking down some of these walls that we have between each other, kind of, fostering a little sense of solidarity between ourselves to, just because we're going to need it. We're going to need it. These motherfuckers is out here and they, they are together. So we need to be showing the same strength, the same solidarity. We need to be on that page. So that was it. I was just like, man, like and that isn't the first time that's happened. You know what I mean? And again, in my older age, I've become a little more, like my edges have become softer. We'll put it that way. I think that's the easiest way to say it. My edges have become softer, a little more docile. You know what I mean? Like I still rip your head off, but mm, every interaction doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be contentious. It doesn't have to be every interaction. I kind of now just do every interaction individually. However it comes, I'll adjust accordingly. Right. So, but before when I was younger, a little hoodlum, I used to, what I'm saying, be a little more aggressive with my stances. So I get it, but yeah, we gotta figure out a way to just spread the love. Spread the love. All right. I hope y'all had a good turkey day. You know what I mean? I hope it was filled with all the
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rabbits. You name
food and trimmings and everything that y'all want and like. I gotta admit, I'm kind of unplugging from all these colonial holidays intentionally. Yep. Like they're all manufactured to increase commerce. Again, I'm starting to read the scam um on the way that we have been engineered to just be um patrons, just to be just to feed the system. And it was one thing when our money was worth something, right? It was one thing when we worked and we had access and things of that nature. But as the wages don't increase and the price of things do, I'm feeling less and less inclined to even do any of these things, right? I'm feeling less and less inclined to do any of these little funk ass holidays that you continuously push upon me. So, and Thanksgiving being one of Thanksgiving is probably one of the only ones that I'm really here for. Because it's about breaking bread. It's about, communing with, your peoples and just having a couple libations, just sitting back and, maybe watching some football, just kind of kicking it. It's that's what I'm here for on that holiday for sure. But even still, it is a holiday of excess, right? Food on food on food, drink, cakes, pies, and there'll be a pod soon on this food that they're putting in front of us, as that they're masquerading as food out here in these streets and in these supermarkets. It is a holiday of excess. And if you know us, we even in the one dish we make is always an excess. The macaroni is the cheesiest, you know what I mean? The drink is the drinkiest, so we always do the most, and it's delicious. Don't get it twisted, it's absolutely delicious. But when we think about our health benefits and things on the backside, and is it worth the saying, is it the worth the 5 pounds you're gonna put on over that weekend? Is it worth the saying, the cholesterol and everything else that's happening and anything else that's going on, what I mean? So we just gotta just think about things a little more critically, even these holidays, because I get it. They're here for, well, again, they're manufactured, and if you really want to talk about um the origins of Thanksgiving, if you really want to take it as face value, and all these holidays for that matter, they're a lot of them are pagan. This one Thanksgiving is built on what I'm saying, the bludgeoning and the killing of the Native Americans here on the soil, that they did horrible, horrendous things to. And I mean, it's supposed to be a celebration of that, but if you really want to think about it, it's a celebration of how the white man always comes in, shakes your hand, and then as soon as you turn your back, murders and destroys you and take all your goods and wealth. That's basically what it is. They came in, shook their hand, stole their land, get the fuck out. Here's some smallpox while you're walking out the door. Here's some blankets to keep you warm, but they're smallpox infested. You know what I mean? That type of shit. So I don't know. I just think we need to really start looking critically at these holidays that they give us to celebrate. And it's just because a day off don't mean you need to go out and blow dough. That's all. So again, I'm unplugging. And matter of fact, we have the mass blackout, the blackout, as you could call it. And so it's supposed to be a blackout, so you're not supposed to purchase anything. I've said this on a few pods, but you're not supposed to purchase anything Black Friday and through this whole weekend, through Cyber Monday, everything, right? So you're not supposed to do any of that. If you find yourself that you have to do those things, right? So just make sure you're doing it. If you like, you can't help yourself because I know we are addicted to spending money. We are addicted to this commerce nation, right? We can't help ourselves. But if you feel like I can't do it, I have to do that with local businesses. You have to go out to eat again. Avoid all the major establishments. Go to local spots. Go to mom and pop stores. Stay away from the Amazons, the big box stuff. No ordering online from any type of major business or distributor. Because again, that's all they respect is money, and that's the way we got to get our point across. And once we do that, they will start respecting our authority. You know what I mean? They'll start with in words of Cartman. They will start respecting our
Respect my
authority.
authority.
So yeah, we gotta start. You know what I'm saying? Closing that wallet. Close that wallet because this country is in a decline. But let them tell it we're doing fine. But if we were doing fine, they would not. There would be no reason for them to not give out the job report. They haven't released the job reports because we're losing multiple jobs. Amazon, tens of thousands of jobs. All those companies losing tens of thousands of jobs, right? In the last quarter. But that's why they're not giving out the jobs report. The economic report they have withheld. Because they know we are in some shit. But if they're willing to crash the plane, then let's help them. That's all I'm saying. Let's fuck it. Let's just burn this shit to the floor. But I don't want you to be in control. I'm gonna take the wheel. Let's crash it. Fuck it. Let's go. I can't let you do it. If you try to take us down, then I'm gonna help you. Get out the way. I got it. Let's go. Let's all go. Kamikaze, nigga. You know what I mean? So let's. So I feel like we're again now kind of we're just going along for the ride instead of becoming the pilot of the plane. So this is a way we could try to take back some control. So yeah, don't spend any money. And again, I know we are conditioned to Black Friday, go out and get those deals and all of that stuff. And you have the things on TV and the commercials to entice you to get out there and spend money. And technically, it's Black Friday today. I haven't gone nowhere. So I might go see my homeboy out in an undisclosed location. But we're not about to do none of that stuff. Because what's the point? What's the point? Like, why are we faking the funk here? Anyway, so yeah, just be mindful. And again, I know Xmas is coming up, but man, we got to make choices here because they're making a many choices to affect us, many choices to affect the way we move, the way we get down, and we gotta counteract. And so also I seen that they have like these new No Kings protests. They had some yesterday. They're out in they were out on DC. They was out in DC, out in the National Mall. You know what I'm saying, around the big, where you had I had the dream speech. Out in there around the big pool. Um, uh, and honestly, I can say that it did look more because um, I've had critical things to say about their little No Kings protests because I think they're a little bubblegummy. I think they're real, they're real convenient. They're convenient ways to protest. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's only on their days off. It's only on a Saturday. I feel like you need to make it inconvenient for the people that you are protesting if you really want to get noticed and for them to take notice. You have to be more in your face. Like, nah, we gonna make this so you can't leave this driveway. We gonna No, we gonna block this freeway. Nah, we gonna, you know what I mean? Make it inconvenient for them to move around. Make it inconvenient for the people so they have to take note. Stand in their way. You know what I mean? Like, in the civil rights, I'm gonna sit down in this lunch counter and make you uncomfortable. I'm going to make you uncomfortable. I'm gonna sit here, eat my food, look in your face. This food that I'm certain they just spit in or pissed in or whatever. But I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna look you in your face while I do it. Make them uncomfortable. But I feel like these No King protests it's just for show. I don't feel the protest. So at least they took it to their front porch this time. So I do appreciate that, I guess. But I want a little more into that. I want a little more backbone in it. So it just feels like it's just for convenience, just so they can have the maximum outcome. But during their like about to say Rodney King, the George Floyd protests, like, yeah, we was out there in them streets. We was out there in them streets. Like Monday, Wednesday, like it didn't matter. It was a consistent effort and push. You know what I mean? Hell, I got arrested twice during that shit. You know what I mean? But hey, because I'm gonna be the places where it's inconvenient. I'm gonna be in the places where no, no, no. I'm gonna make this a problem for you. You know what I mean? And so I just don't feel like that energy is here on this. I don't feel like that energy is here. So, you know, what are you gonna do? But I guess some action is better than no action. But I don't know what you get out of protesting somebody who don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, and I've used this analogy before. Like, you can have a lady that's mad at you, but if you don't give a shit about her or what she talking about, don't really affect you. You know what I mean? Unless she come and bust out your windows or do something crazy, like it is like, oh, whoa, I gotta pay her some attention. Jesus Christ, this bitch is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Then you start noticing. And that's the same type. We gotta be on that type of energy, unfortunately. Because they're not gonna respect anything else if it's not about the money. So protesting is useless unless we make it very inconvenient for them. Just saying. Hey, what do I know? You know, we got to do more. And honestly, again, I don't know how effective it will be with this regime. So that's why I do feel protests, in far as economics, will be more respected because all Trump is going to listen to is those rich billionaires that he keeps giving handouts to. And that's all he's going to be, what I'm saying? That's all he's going to be beholden to. So, yeah, let's hit them in the pockets and then they'll be our proxy to him. Yo, you gotta chill. You messing up the money. You messing up the money. You gotta chill. Period. So there's that. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know I am a Cleveland Browns fan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hence, I'm a Cleveland Brown fan. And I've been like, yo, when are they gonna get Shadorian? When are they gonna get Shadorian? When are they gonna get Shadorian? They finally got Shadorian. and he was, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't exceptional, but he was good enough. Matter of fact, good enough to win the first game as a rookie quarterback since 1995. And that was the year that they left Cleveland and moved to Baltimore. Right? So he was the first quarterback. I mean, and if you know anything about Cleveland, there's been many quarterbacks before then. We talking like at least 18, 20 or something like that that's tried to get this done and failed. Tried to get this done and failed. So he got the dub. And so, and it's funny to watch the coach because the coach has been trying to hold him back. Say I don't want to get too sports out, but I'll just say the coach has been trying to hold his brother back. And it's been so obvious. The coach won't even say his name in the interviews or press conferences. And even when they won, the coach was like, "Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah." He was sucking the dick of everybody in the fucking in the locker room. And then when it came at the end to Shador, he's like, "To a rookie to give him the first start, Shador, good job." Like, yo, why don't I get the same juice as you giving to everybody else? Like, bro, the fuck. So it's just like, man, it sucks seeing them hold his brother, limiting his shine, limiting his potential. And and unfortunately now that the coach has been saying he ain't ready wing, and they've been putting out this scrub of a quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, and he ain't been doing shit. The dude's like 4'5", and he can't see over the line. He's just been throwing 5 yard outs. Like, it's just like, so if this is your guy, and you've been constantly saying this is the guy, and now the backup that you wouldn't even give practice snaps to has come in, won a game that we haven't won a game in probably about 4 games now, and it's just like, all right, the backup dude that came in, won the game, looked great, better than your dude. And so now the coach is in a lose lose because now if Shador comes in and continues to fall, then it's like, why ain't he been in the whole time? You know what I mean? So are you either that bad at talent evaluation or what? Like, why hasn't he been in the whole time? So yeah, no, no. I hope Shador. He got the Niners this week, which is going to be a tough out. But with that defense, again, if they can just keep them off the field, if they can keep them off the field, um, if they can string a few drives together, the defense will do its thing. So you just can't be going three and out, three and out, three and out, and the defense will keep you in that game. I feel like we got that defense like Tampa Bay, circa I want to say 2000 with Tony Dungy and them when they was like, yo, oh no, it wasn't Tony Dungy didn't win the ring with them. John Gruden came in the next year, so I think that was 2001. Those Bucks with Trent Dilfer, and they just barely won. You know what I mean? But he ain't had. Don't lose the game for us. You ain't got to win the game. Just don't lose the game. So we'll see. Say we'll see. But at least there's some hope again in Cleveland land. Yo, Cleveland. You know what I mean? That's what's up. Stand up. All right, back to the politicals. It's been a while. A couple weeks. A couple weeks. And Trump land moves fast. Like, Jesus Christ. Like it's just too fast to keep up with. Like, in a matter of a week, in a matter of 2 weeks even. Like, we found like the president like gives that you know what I'm saying? Like he giving that like that was not on my bingo card. That Trump was a brainiac. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea. He was going with the jab and the balls. I had no idea. To the president, the ex-president, Bill Clinton. Bubba. We'll just say Bubba for sure. All right? They're trying to say, oh, no, that wasn't Bill Clinton. Word. That now, that painting at Epstein Island now makes a whole lot of sense. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. It makes a whole lot of sense now, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Uh-huh. And if that makes sense, this one does too. We'll be tracking that later. Like I told you, we'll be tracking that later. You know what I'm saying? Little George Bush with the little paper planes into the buildings. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bro, there's a pod coming soon about that. Like I told y'all. It's a pod coming soon about that. But again, I've said this before, but I mean this. Like, I don't care who's in the Epstein files. Democrat, Republican, send them all to jail. All the motherfuckers. In fact, send them under it.
Bring me everyone. What do you mean, everyone?
We need to shed light on this and disinfect that shit. Like, too many times, even in our own families, right? We find ways to protect predators. Let's keep it a buck. Even in our own families, we find ways to protect the predators. We almost all have like that cousin or uncle that's inappropriate, that's done inappropriate things here. I don't want to trigger nobody. You know what I mean? I don't want to trigger the people. But y'all know it's true. It exists in my own family. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. It exists in my own family where someone has done some irreparable harm to someone in our own family. But yet sometimes people don't be acknowledging that shit. Let's keep it real. We causing trauma to these motherfuckers, and then they gotta live their life. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to deal with that shit. The after effects of that. Like, and so if it can happen to people with nothing and that have nothing, what is it like for the people that have, like, you know what I'm saying, unlimited amounts of power, money, and influence? That will kill or silence people to maintain their secret society and their secrets. You know what I mean? What like, you know what I'm saying? What about that? That to maintain their little secrets. Like, this is some nasty shit going on, I'm sure. And so to have you know, an administration, and I got a feeling that this covers several administrations, multi-democratic and Republican type of shit. And I think that's the reason why we're not seeing a lot of this stuff come out. And that's why Donald Trump kind of flipped the script, like, yeah, put it out. Because I think he's like, yo, hey, he like Nina Brown. Hey, if I'm going down, I'm taking all of y'all with me. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just me. You know what I mean? It ain't just me.
I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I got a list of proof. If I'm going down, I'm taking a whole lot of people with me.
Order in the court.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the way. Burn the Carter, nigga. Burn it. And I think that's the way that's going down, right? And I just think he's like, yeah, they ain't gonna do it because they know some of their heroes are probably gonna be in here. So I'm gonna call they bluff. And honestly, he really do believe that he's untouchable, and that his supporters will support him nonetheless, even if he's in the files. They'll find a way to excuse him and admonish, like, you know what I'm saying, the other people on the list. They'll find a way. They've been doing it, so I don't think there would be no reason to think otherwise. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And so a lot has come out. It just looks like the more and more we look at it, that the more and more it feels like Israel, like this country is in the pocket of Israel. Like, the web goes deep, and I don't know, because, like, man, when you really think about it, it starts to make a little sense when they be talking about in the emails, like, you know, Epstein was talking to his brother, talking like, who has the pictures of Trump blowing bubble? Like, does Putin have them? Like, what? Wait. And so that's a lot. And if I do have pictures of you blowing somebody, a former president, do you think that might be a way to get influence on someone? To a way to maybe manipulate them to move the way you might want them to move? I don't know. I feel like everything's a question after that. Like, think about it. If somebody had pictures of you doing something like that, you know what I mean? Are you, how inclined are you going to be to acquiesce to whatever they ask you? You know? Just saying, man. I don't trust this. I don't trust it. I don't trust none of it. And we got to understand that, they are playing a sinister, nasty fucking game. It is filthy. Filthy. And I believe if these things are really put out, unedited, in full disclosure, like, I think we would have the pitchforks in the fire, and you know what I'm saying? The torches and the pitchforks circling the White House. And not just the White House, the house of all of these, you know what I'm saying, these nasty curmudgeons. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I feel that. So, hey, I don't know. I just hope the victims can get justice. I hope, we learn the truth, which is going to be harder and harder because, yeah, once you got the power, hey, I'm going to take an eraser. I'm going to take an eraser to all that shit. I'm going to only put out what I want to put out. Yeah, that's why everybody put it out. And then he only going to put out the stuff that implicates the other people. You know what I mean? That's the problem. You know what I mean? Even though we're implicated, although he's been implicated in multiple instances, I got a feeling when that stuff comes out, it's going to be everybody but him somehow. Anyway, so there's that update on that. Now, we're going to take a look at the other things that's happened in just this quick 2 weeks. I'm going to play a couple clips. That kind of, this guy summarizes, like, per week, all the things that happened that Trump has done over the few weeks or over a week. And it's just crazy when you hear the amount of bullshit that he's doing. And it's type of just like, wow. And it's just 2 weeks. And that's why it's so hard to even keep up with. And I think that's what is done on purpose. It's a flood the zone, like with all types of shit. So you can't, it's like confetti. You can't follow it all. It's like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? It's just too much to keep track of anything because I'm going to just flood the zone with bullshit and you can't even find the real shit. And matter of fact, it's all kind of real shit because he getting it done. So just pay attention to this. We're going to come and talk back about it on the other side.
Here's everything Trump did this week. He continued to call the Epstein files a hoax, even though emails were released this week saying he knew about the girls, and that he apparently gave Bill Clinton a blowy. He then ordered an investigation into Democrats who are supposedly on the island in an effort to stop Congress from being able to release the files, since they can't release anything that's part of an ongoing investigation. He tried to roll out 50-year house mortgages, which would save people very little and cost them about $400,000 over the course of their loan. He promised to give everyone a $2,000 tariff stimulus check 9 months after promising Doge stimulus checks, which still haven't rolled out. He asked states to undo SNAP benefits that were in the process of rolling out after pleading with the courts to let him block the funds completely. Said that the October jobs data will never be released, which is definitely a good sign for the economy. Bought $82 million of bonds from companies that are benefiting from his policies, meaning we now have a new goat of insider trading. Canceled a plan to require airlines to compensate passengers for delayed flights, giving in to the airline lobby, which spends about $30 million a year. Pardoned the team of people that tried to help him overturn the 2020 election, meaning he's definitely not going to try to do that again. He's planning to lease a ton of areas in the Gulf of Mexico and outside California for oil drilling, at the same time that he's making huge cuts to renewables and clean energy. Threatened to dock pay for air traffic controllers in an effort to get them to show up to work unpaid during the shutdown. Fired government ethics workers that were looking into his lawsuits, which means he obviously isn't hiding anything. He lowered a ton of his food tariffs to try and lower prices, which inadvertently admits that tariffs raise prices. Sued California over their redistricting map, which is funny because earlier he ordered Texas to do the exact same thing. Asked the Supreme Court to overturn his sexual assault verdict. Refused to release info on his health imaging. Formally requested for Benjamin Netanyahu to be pardoned. Revoked limits on Alaskan oil drilling. Pardoned a British billionaire found guilty of insider trading. Hosted a private dinner with a ton of Wall Street CEOs. Prepared to start deporting Ukrainians. And finally blew up his 20th Caribbean boat without giving any evidence of wrongdoing. There were 2 court verdicts for Trump this week. An appeals court blocked Trump from limiting SNAP benefits, meaning he had to pay them out within 48 hours. But then the Supreme Court extended its block on distributing SNAP benefits, meaning it was overruled. In other news, the shutdown has officially ended, with Democrats gaining absolutely nothing from all of it. Absolutely legendary gambit. Thank you, Chuck Schumer. Both the UK and Colombia have stopped sharing some intelligence with the US over Trump's boat strikes, and the House has officially forced a vote on the release of the Epstein files. If it succeeds, it would be passed to the Senate too. Trump would almost certainly veto it. It would then go back to Congress, needing a 2/3 majority of both houses to overturn the veto, and that would be extremely hard to get, especially in the Senate. So anything could happen, but all I'm saying is that things aren't really looking good. Now for our trackers, inflation is at 3% and rising. We don't know what the unemployment rate is because Trump has stopped releasing it. Eggs are at $3.49, gas is at $3.34, and Trump has so far spent $100,800,000 of taxpayer money playing golf in his turn. When the government stops releasing economic data, that usually means the economic data is not good. So I don't mean to alarm you guys, but we're cooked.
All right now. All right, we're going to just stop here before playing the next clip. First of all, shout out to 92 News for bringing us these Trump confetti clips. They bring good content, and so it's worth to follow. But the sheer amount of activity is unnerving, to be honest, because we're just talking like 7 days, just 7 days worth of just activity. This is 1 week. Jesus Christ, like that's a lot. And even though I'm like on the opposition, like you almost have no choice but to be at all at the type of action that's happening. Like if the Democrats like move with this type of this reckless abandon, we be in a utopia right now. But like, cause just just imagine though, like if you were governed off of like being fueled by love as opposed to hate. You feel what I'm saying? Just imagine how much better this world would be if the fuel that was there was just being kind to somebody, helping someone out, helping the next man out, instead of they took our jobs and trying to be like just so anti to everything different from you. You know, you just kind of imagine how this world could be, especially we'll just say this country in particular, but this world in general. Because unfortunately, a lot of other countries take America's lead on things, on policies, on and how they move sometimes. So we become to be an infectious type of the way we go, the way we move ends up infecting other lands. Not to mention that we use our sort of superiority to spread democracy across the globe. You know what I mean? So we end up infiltrating, the way they do things and making it more our way. And if our way is this, that's what they end up being, unfortunately. That's why, even in you heard in, I think it was in this clip, might be in the next one. Yeah, Trump is basically trying to influence, other elections. That's why he just pardoned this. I want to say the guy from Honduras. That was in jail for bringing in 400 tons of cocaine into the country. The Biden administration had him, arrested in jail, and here Trump pardons him. But if you care about trafficking and all of that, why are you blowing up boats in the middle of Venezuela, off the coast of Venezuela? I mean, you know what I mean? Because it's not about the drugs, it's about the money and the influence and the power. So yeah, miss me with that. Y'all ain't gonna get me that one. So, but yeah, man, just seeing the amount of activity is just unnerving. So now, just like, all right, so can we just talk about like what's in this like confetti? Basically, let's just talk about. We can start with one that I just think is the 50-year mortgages that they got going on, right? So, you got 50-year mortgages out there, like 50 years. Like I'm on the other side of 40 right now. Yeah, I hope so, but I ain't living to be 100. So if I got a mortgage right now, you telling me like I'm going to die before I pay it off, then you again really don't own anything and never will. And that's the goal of the shit. And people like And not to mention the amount of interest that you'll pay on it. I'm gonna try to throw up a graph on there if I can get to it. But the amount of interest that you pay on this type of loan product is ridiculous. Like it's downright predatory, right? And I mean, they don't want you to own anything anyway, because again, if you default, we just take the land. Again, you're just paying us in the meantime, and then in the short term, but in the long term, we still win. We got your money, and we'll get the land in the backside. All right, so it's they're setting this up so we can be a permanent slave state. I've said this before. That's all they're working for, is to make us permanent um, cogs to their machine, to their endless quest for more and more wealth. And that's and honestly, it's becoming to where it's almost nothing we can do. That's why we have to put the brakes on them and their movement. We gotta stop buying. We have to close the wallet. Stop leaning into their goals and aspirations. We gotta make them recognize that without us, you can't move. You know what I'm saying? You have no juice without us. So, but they're taking us for granted right now. Before they used to care. They used to care that we had issues with a certain marketing strategy, or they used to care that if a product might hurt someone or offend someone. Now it's just like, you know what? Wild Wild West. Get it how you live. Hey, everything is poison, the food, water, air. So it really doesn't matter at this point. So we gotta start making them respect us again. And
Respect
so
my authority!
that's right, Carmen. Respect our authority. So yeah, we gonna have to do that. Anyway, but yeah, this 50-year mortgage is crazy. But I'm gonna try to run through some of the stuff that they were talking about, just so I mean, because don't have the time to deep dive on all this stuff, and even the news that does this professionally, they just don't have the bandwidth to really give all of this stuff the proper in-depth dive that they need to do, because it's just too much. It's just this sheer amount is just too much. Another thing they were saying in there is like the two he said he was going to give away $2,000 in stimulus checks, right? Y'all really think y'all get no stimulus checks? Like, let's be honest. They ain't coming. And even if they did, you probably already spent double that on everything that we are buying and stuff that's already been taxed and everything like that. That's already been raised. The prices has been raised by the tariffs. Um, and just by doing that, you're admitting that the tariffs is a tax on Americans, right? The tariffs are a tax on Americans, unfortunately. But they tried to make it seem like, no, the other countries are going to pay for it. Just like the other countries are going to pay for the wall. Same shit. He just said shit. His supporters just suck it up, slurp it up, like he did Bill. I'm sorry, Bubba. You know what I mean? His supporters just suck it up, suck it right up. But it's straight lies. Straight lies. He's giving away, you know what I'm saying? We're paying for him to bomb boats off the coast of Venezuela and to do whatever they want. Because inflation is high. You saw inflation is high, gas is high, everything's high. Nothing's coming down. So what do the tariffs actually do except make us more poor, make our dollars less meaningful, less impactful? It's just basically taxation by another name. That's all. More taxes. And again, you pay taxes on everything: sales tax, estate tax, death tax. Like there's taxes on everything. Now there's tax on top of the sales tax when you buy something. Now you have to pay a tariff tax because nobody's paying that. The companies aren't paying that. They never pay anything. It's always us. Anyway, so yeah, it's just taxation by another name. We gonna have it's coming time to where we're gonna have to start throwing some tea in them. You know what I mean? We're gonna start throwing some teas in the harbor because it's becoming too much that we're not seeing any benefits for. And the more we pay, the less they give. They're removing all, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to pay for anything. But Have no problem building a new wing off the White House. Ain't got no problem with that. Have no problem spending over $100 million in golfing trips. He ain't even been in there a year. It's no problem when it comes time for you to spend. Yeah, demons, I tell you. Anyway, why? Also, another thing that was in that clip that was like trying to block states from like wanting to pay out SNAP benefits, regardless of the government's shenanigans and foolery, is a blatant indication again that we're dealing with demons trying to stop people from being fed. Like the states have found an independent way to continue to provide SNAP benefits that doesn't require the federal government, but you go to you move to have that blocked, to have children continue to starve. Now that's a purposeful act. Like it's one thing to say, hey, you know what? Nah, we ain't trying to have the government pay for this, or for whatever reason, the federal government, I should say. But when the states find a way to circumvent that and get these people fed, you move to block it. They want punishment. They want people to starve. No, just rip the mask off already. Because you're dealing with some Baltimore looking motherfuckers. Dead ass. So anyway, again, I don't really have the time to run through all of these because it's a so we're just gonna move on. Yeah, so again, talking about those drug boats off the coast of Venezuela. I mean, no evidence, no due process. They just moving up. Trust me, bro. They doing it. But obviously, you can't be trusted. That's why the UK has pulled their evidence sharing from you because you're not trusted. They don't want to be complicit in this type of murder, to be honest. Like, you know how they usually do the drug seizing, they go surround the boats, or whatever, and seize the cargo and be like, hey, look at all these drugs. You know what I'm saying? Look at all these drugs. Why aren't they doing that in this case? Why are they doing that in this case? Because I don't really think it's about the drugs. It's never about the drugs. It's never about the drugs. The U.S. government cares about drugs. We talking about the same U.S. government that flooded our neighborhoods with crack, right? During the 80s, on purpose, right? We're talking about them. They don't care about drugs. They don't care about them at all. I mean, unless it affects their neighborhoods, I guess. But, like, you can't just murder people without proper reasoning or clearance. Like in foreign lands, you just can't do it. Like, can we just all agree that this is just another our countries? Yeah, because I live here, unfortunately. Our countries continuing need for pillage and looting. Because that's all they're trying to do: start a conflict so they can go into Venezuela and take all their natural resources, the oil that's over there. They have one of the highest reserves of it. That's all. Like, let's just like I'm tired of being like duped by saying America's foreign interests, like their foreign policy. They just tell us, oh no, it's all this. Nah, man, y'all some savages. And honestly, I'm tired of being a part of it. I mean, guilty by association. It becomes exhausting, trying to even remotely defend the country that I live in and their existence abroad. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the next clip. Check this out. From 92% news. Check this out, and we'll discuss on the other side, and then we'll get into wrapping this up.
Here's everything Trump did this week. He glazed the hell out of Zoran Mamdani in the Oval Office, saying he'd do a great job as mayor and smiling at him more than he does his own wife. Suddenly reversed course on the Epstein files, backing the vote and signing their release. However, he has the power to classify and withhold pretty much any information he wants. Officially canceled the October jobs report, meaning we have no idea how the economy is doing. He took more steps to dismantle the education department, eliminating many of its functions and sending them to other departments. Called for Democrats in Congress to be put to death. What the fuck? Stopped classifying swastikas as hate symbols, because that's always a good sign for the direction of your country. Removed protections from government whistleblowers, because why the hell do we need those? Issued a $1 billion loan to restart a nuclear power plant, also that Microsoft can use all of the electricity for their new data center. Proposed a horrible peace deal to end the Ukraine war, would make them give up a ton of their territory and half the size of their army. He blew up another boat without giving any evidence of wrongdoing, threatened to launch strikes against Mexico, thought about banning states from regulating AI, dismantled 2 major clean energy offices, ended protected status for a ton of Somali immigrants, started forcing education workers to sign NDAs, threatened to cut intel and equipment sharing with Ukraine, put 200,000 Ukrainian refugees at risk of deportation, and finally wore a very similar outfit to Zoran Mamdani right after meeting him. They're already wearing each other's clothes. How romantic. Now for Trump's court verdicts this week, a judge found a ton of missteps in Trump's case against James Comey. Another judge blocked Texas from using their state gerrymander in the House. An appeals court allowed ICE agents to use tear gas and other weapons. A judge blocked him from deploying the National Guard to Washington, D.C. A judge blocked him from cutting hundreds of millions of dollars of grants to cities. And finally, an appeals court ruled that Trump cannot expand his rapid deportations. In other news, the UN Security Council has adopted Trump's peace plan for Gaza, even though Hamas has refused the terms of it, and Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned from Congress. Now for our trackers, inflation is at 3%, well above the healthy rate of 2%. Unemployment is at 4.4%, inching upward. Eggs are at 3.49, still high. Gas is at 3.34, still high. And Trump has so far spent $100,800,000 of taxpayer money golfing in his term. He hasn't golfed in 3 weeks. He must be dead.
Whoa. Again, that's a lot, man. It's only 7 days we're talking about. They are moving at light speed. And so I think the most important thing that was mentioned there, I think, is the dismantling of the Department of Education. It's insane. They're carving up the Department of Education and shipping its core responsibilities out to other federal agencies. Like K through 12 education programs is moving to the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor. Like they've always been trying to move this way, and it was blaming it on budgets and test scores and whatever else. But yeah, they've been trying to move this into because really all they want to do with the school system is create worker bees. The school system is a fraud, especially when you're talking about K through 12. It's not funded properly. They don't teach the things that are going to make people either think outside the box or to become very, very high productive members of society. It's, hey, give you the basics, teach you some stuff you'll never need or use again in life, and then send you out here to fail. So you can either go to prison or work in one of these factories to keep that moving. That's it. It's no longer about making well-rounded human beings. It's just, man, let's just give you enough so you're not totally stupid. So you're not, just dumb, right? And then let's get you off into one of these factories to work 40 years. And then let's replace. Rinse and repeat. Anyway, let's move on. So yeah, like K through 12 is now moving to the Department of Labor. The college and universities are being moved to the Department of Labor as well. Native American programs is going to the Department of Interior. Foreign language programs to the State Department. Child care and medical education programs are being dumped into the Department of Human Services. So, like, basically what they're trying to do is basically just splinter up the department so that it collapses from within without having to get any votes on it at all. I ain't got to take this to Congress. I ain't got to do nothing over here. Hey, nope. I'm just gonna just break it apart and just let it wither aside. Like, you know what I mean? If you just cut the body up into pieces and just throw it over here, like, yeah, it's going to die just because of the lack, the blood loss and whatever else. It's just going to wither away. And so, but they have not been shy about, their goal of getting rid of the Department of Education. This is stated in Project 2025. Y'all remember Project 2025, right? Y'all remember, right? She told y'all. She told y'all, but she wasn't black enough, right? She wasn't black enough. Y'all didn't like the way she laughed. Y'all didn't like the way she laughed. Stupid ass motherfuckers. Y'all ain't like the way she laughed. But this is what we got. Anyway. This fucking pisses me off. Anyway, so like, um, but outside of that, they're also redefining what they consider to be professional degrees or careers. Professionals that are like professions, I should say, that are cut from this list that are no longer eligible for federal student loans are advancing nursing degrees, ABNs and NPs, PAs, teachers, social workers, counselors, speech pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. Notice something about these? Hmm? What do they all have in common? They're all women-dominated fields for the most part, right? They want women to be barefoot and pregnant in the home, giving birth, right? Getting these populations up, especially if you're white. You know how that goes. So, but not just that. They're trying to keep people poor, just in general. That's an escape for a lot of people that might not have, I know a lot of women that went to those type of programs trying to find a way out of the hood, of the ghetto, trying to do better for themselves. They're trying to eliminate that. They're trying to eliminate that. So when you're already trying to limit the government's responsibility for the people, and then also limiting their ability to be responsible for themselves, what are y'all trying to create here? Like, what type of society are you really trying to create? So, it's this is just sad and shameful, but we really, 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 really need to just pay attention. I know it's a lot. I know it's coming. It feels overwhelming, but be intentional with your intention gathering. Be intentional of what's going on in these politics because they're doing a lot of things by sleight of hand. Look over here while we do this over here. So you gotta understand the underbelly of this and see how it's working. Slice it open and see how the mechanics are working inside. And if you have any questions on why they are doing this, always look back to the money. Always look back to the money. It's always going to just default there. It's always money based, especially with this administration. It's always some sort of money that they're doing. All right, people. I think we'll stop it there. Thank you for tuning in. As you are aware, I don't like to stop on, just hit the emergency brakes on the train just to, and jerk y'all. So, I like to play clips at the end that, has either, um, um, a motivational message or just something a little more lighthearted or in this particular clip that I'm going to play is it's not motivational indeed, but I guess it can be considered that way. It's just more of us trying to just how even from the early, the 50s and 40s and 50s that they are aware of how we spend and why we spend, more importantly, our money on and how we view products and just consume. And they have been trying to make us these type of consumers for a long time. And I thought it was relevant to put here because we're talking about the mass boycott and the blackout that we're doing. And yeah, cancel Christmas, cancel all this stuff. Stop spending your money at these big box retailers. I'm gonna say it again: Amazon, Walmart, Target, all of them, Home Depot, all these big boxes. Find the mom and pop stores. Find the mom and pop stores. Go shop something black owned. And there's find black owned. All right, so me searching, I found a lot of substitutes on things that I buy. That I would normally just go pick up at Target or go pick up at somewhere else. But I found some black substitutes. They haven't arrived yet. I bought them, but they have not arrived yet. But I can't wait to try them. That again, I was never knew they existed. We'll start there, and now who knows? I might have a new brand that I can, patronize. Anyway, so we got off topic. Well, no, I'm still on topic, but yeah, I want you all to listen to this clip. But while you're watching it, just keep in mind how they've been trying to just manipulate us. All right.
The secret of selling to the Negro is expressed in one word. That word is recognition. But perhaps because he's had so little of it, the Negro needs even more. This need is a very real and important one. It shows up even in many of the Negro's shopping habits. Anyone who sells or wants to sell to the Negro customer should know about some of these habits. To begin with, most Negroes buy by brand. They ask for products by name. They're quick to turn down off-brands. Now for the second. The Negro buys good quality merchandise. Symbols of quality and prestige are very important to the Negro customer. This woman, for example, is buying fine crystalware. But she is also buying the admiration and approval of her friends and relatives. It's a well-known fact that many Negro customers are influenced by the opinions of others. And here's the third thing to remember when selling to a Negro customer. When he specifically asks for one thing, don't try to sell him something else. If you do, he'll probably react something like this.
Doesn't he think I've got the money to pay for it?
He wants to be sold on quality, not price. The Negro buys by brand, he buys quality, and he doesn't like to be switched at point of sale. These are the keys to selling the Negro customer.
So, like I said, yeah, the Negro likes brand names, right? Yeah, let's attach. Let's not be as predictable with our habits and our spending habits. Let's show them. Let's make them make new videos. Like, hey, it's gonna be hard. They like to spend with their own people. Why can't we have that? Why can't we make one of our own designers the brand name? Again, why is it crossover over to them? Why don't they never cross over to us and buy stuff that we make? Right? We always pump up some white designer or some other type of organization to make them, because that's our export is blackness, culture. We export the culture. We make something hot. They make billions of dollars and then end up making a ad that just disparages us. So let's stop doing it. Anyway, all right, people, take care. Again, I know you have plenty of places to be, so I'm glad we're here with me. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, thanks for coming out. God bless you. Good night.